For the sake of the video, I'm gonna get in it.
What?
We should get in it and film up.
Okay, you go first.
All right.
So this is the Chaz Boldt Paper Mill, right? Or once was the Chaz Boldt Paper
Yeah.
Mill. Can you tell me, the history on what it was and where it went?
From everything I've read and been told by old locals, is the Chaz Boldt Paper Mill. It was built in 1920 and 21. It was finished in like a year and a half to complete the facility, and then it opened up making cardboard out of rice shucks back in the 20s into the Great Depression. The place closed in 1938 during the Depression, and then after that, a lot of the property was dismantled and stuff for the war effort, is what I've been told.
So it didn't stay open very long.
No, the Depression put a hurting on it.
So it says the smokestack itself, the remnants of the word Charles. Did it say Charles or did it just say Boldt Paper Mill?
It said C. Boldt Paper Mill.
See Boldt Paper Mill?
Yeah.
So barely the bolt's still there and paper mill still is.
Yeah, it's slowly coming to his end times.
Did they ever make, what we think of when we think of paper, writing paper, printing paper, or was just mainly a cardboard
Not that
facility?
I know of. All I've been told, we had an old local who was in his late 90s came and said he worked here when he was like 12. And I talked to him and he said they made cardboard here. And there's not a lot of information on it besides what you've been told. I've searched the local library and tax records and stuff like that. There's nothing really on the property.
Man, these, I say catacombs because it sounds awesome, but I guess they're just kind of like, they're not necessarily underground, they're above ground, maybe halfway underground, those structures all over the property. Was it engine rooms or was it worker facility or?
I guess it's a little bit of both. It had all kind of nooks and crannies and little, people call them tunnels. I know one thing I've read a few things online about the facility, and they said this facility was the first place for electric generators in the South at the time.
So it was, I would assume the generators were diesel powered, but the rest of the mill, besides the generators themselves, ran on electricity?
Yeah, to power the plant, to power the place, I don't know how it's made. There is still remnants of a lot of tubing and steel piping around here.
Yeah, the flooded area, the longest strip of flooded area that opens up to, I guess, a more open body of water in the back.
Pond.
Yeah, the pond. Was it? Do you know if it was always open in the back like that?
No, that was actually the whole flooded area and big strip, concrete strip. You could see it. I think I gave you a couple of pictures of the building. That was a huge building all the way, and the train tracks ran in the middle right here. And you could see, actually, if you take video back there, you could see where we filled in the windows. And they made a dam on the backside of it to flood it just to keep the riffraff out of there. It wasn't flooded until I think 2005 is when they built the dam and just let it be flooded.
So in the 30s, 38, you said around, the paper mill shut down. I guess did the property lay vacant for X amount of years? How many hands, I guess, did it go through?
I know it stayed vacant a while. My grandfather told me it was empty for a while, and he said during hurricane, one of the hurricanes, Audrey or something, one of the bad ones, it messed up a lot of the property. And after that, it went to, I think the Voorheeses had it, and they rented it out to SAE for a while. SAE used it as one of their shipping headquarters, I guess, in the late 70s and early 80s. Then after that, they opened up, they used the big building up front to sell Christmas trees.
And you brought up the 70s and 80s. It's a good topic because, of course, you go online and everybody likes to tie old abandoned properties like this to horror and possession and ghosts because I guess it's a fun, intriguing topic.
Yeah.
So what do you say to the rumors about in the 70s and 80s the property was used as satanic ritual ground?
It was just a bunch of teenage kids like myself acting crazy, coming spray paint stuff in here. Then in the 80s, my dad was a sheriff's deputy here, and he actually escorted Geraldo to the property, and they did a little film scene here talking about how devil worshiping is going on all over America. And it wasn't no devil worshipers, it was just a bunch of kids acting crazy.
This was on TV, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know, some late 80s, mid 80s, late 80s. It was on TV. I think you still might be able to find it on YouTube.
And I know that you're one of the few people that happens to have your hands on some physical copies of some old pictures from when the mill first opened, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious if in the photos, do you happen to know that big strip that leads to the pond in the back, was it covered, the top of it?
Oh yeah. That whole big strip was like a 2 or 3 story building, and in fact, the opening right here behind us, you could walk across to the next building. The smokestack has a hole in it right here, and obviously you can see where you could, a structure is made where you could walk right there into that.
Almost like a skywalk from one building to
another.
service the smokestack?
Yeah, I guess, or dump stuff in it.
Dump stuff in it?
To
Wow.
be burnt.
That's
whatever
really
it is.
cool. And the opening on the bottom of the other side of the smokestack.
Probably a clean out. It's small, like it would be like a clean out or something.
And from the air, when going over the structure that we're sitting in now, when you look straight down, there are these hexagonal looking structures. We can see them right here actually, and they looks like they've been filled in with dirt. The area right in front of this that's filled in with dirt from the sides, does it go deeper underground or is it kind of just ground level?
There was always a rumor that it had underground tunnels, and people say, oh yeah, I used to play in underground tunnels and all that. It was like one little tunnel that led to a couple diesel tanks they had in the back, but the EPA had made us clean all that up, years ago. It wasn't like super long pirate ship tunnels and stuff, People explain it to me.
Man.
People always were like expecting to come out here and look for treasure in the underground tunnels, but there's no underground tunnels.
When did you guys acquire the property?
My business partner, Greg, and his family acquired the property back in the early 2000s. My buddy Greg's mom and aunt and them had made a garden center and stuff out of it. It was supposed to be also an RV park towards the far side, but that never took place. The garden center stayed open a good while, and then I became a business partner with Greg back in 2014, 15-ish. That's when I got involved in the property. We'd come out here, do work on the property, and next thing you know, there's 10, 15 photographers walking around. So I said, hey, being a photographer myself, said, if we can't beat them, let's join them. So we had my lawyer write up a little liability waiver, and we started charging photographers. Our initial charge was $20, and it stayed at that till this past year. We finally went up to $30.
So now you do use it you open it up for photographers, and you charge a fee mainly because it helps you guys keep the property up.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. That's all. The fee goes strictly towards maintaining the property. Roundup and diesel, man. I mean, we got all the acres to cut. I like to try to keep it open as long as we can for all the photographers to enjoy. I do photography, and I've shot here thousands of times, but it's fun coming out here and seeing all the photographers and meeting new people. Seeing what they do out here, and it's kind of inspirational because you kind of get burnt out shooting here. The next thing you know, you have these photographers come and you see what they do, and it's amazing. Like stuff you never thought of.
All right, John, so on the subject of photography and videography and artistry, I do see a lot of graffiti around here that some of it was obviously done by a kid with a can of spray paint, and others, like these awesome pieces behind us, this alligator, this tag, it looks like it was done by a pro. So what's the story on that?
Yeah, I made friends with a local graffiti artist, and he's a big-time pro, man. I mean, he's amazing. Get him out here. He comes out here pretty often, does cool stuff that we need, like the 2022s and whatever colors we want that's popular at the time and photographers ask for. I say, hey, man, I'm getting a request for this. I'll get the paint. Can you do it? He comes over here and knocks it out the park every time. And we do get the riffraff that come out here and spray paint rocket ships and whatever they want, as I call it. And it's hard to keep the kids out of here. We have a good time having him come, and we host a graffiti jam once a year, and we prime up all the walls, all the artwork, and he knows a bunch of artists locally that he's friends with and on different sites with, and he gets them out here and they come and paint whatever they want, and we have a good time.
And so if any photographers or anybody sees this video that we're making and decides they want to come out here, they don't need to sneak on the property, since you're actually, the whole point of you keeping the property up is for that reason. So they can contact you, sign a waiver, pay the fee, and come do what they want out here, right?
Yeah, if you want to come out, like us on Facebook, The Mill, New Iberia, message me, say, hey, I'd like to come out this date and time. And, it's a $30 fee to come take pictures, video, whatever. And, all the money, there's no profit in it. All the money goes straight back into the property to keep it open and accessible to everybody to shoot pictures and video.
Okay, John. Well, I'll put your contact information in the description if anybody wants to be able to come out here and take some photos. And I appreciate your time and appreciate you keeping up with everything.
Thank y'all for coming out. We're glad to have y'all, and keep doing what y'all doing. Exploring and doing abandoned property stuff. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.